Welcome to Candid Conversations. I am your co-host, Coach Ken, a.k.a. the Professor, a.k.a. the Doctor, alongside my lovely co-host, a.k.a. you, Professor, too. I like them glasses. Them glasses made me think of you.
Hello, and welcome to Candid Conversations with the Grand Canions. Thank you guys so very much for joining us on yet another Thursday evening. As you say, you could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere in the world.
But you're right here with us, and we really appreciate it.
Why you got them glasses on? I know they readers, but why you got them on?
Well, I was reading something.
And then the producers brought you in too quickly. Let me see them cat eyes. Ooh, you just opened them cat eyes up. They did something to me, my loins.
He must want something, but I ain't got it.
All right, y'all. Last week's show was a good one. Mm-hmm. What was it about?
In love with my best friend. In love with my best friend.
In love with your best friend. That was a good one right there. Mm-hmm. All right, and so we got something good tonight. I see you over there with your stuff that you about to read the letter.
Let's chit chat for a minute before you get all up in my business.
I just saw it.
Okay, you got to talk about the sponsors and why we here and what you thinking about getting me for my birthday.
I know what's going on.
What's going on?
You okay? I see what you try to do.
What?
Is you and the producers against me?
No.
I see what you try to do.
I just don't want no scribbling to start. The scribbler to start scribbling.
That's behind the scenes, y'all.
I just don't want the scribbler to start scribbling. So don't miss no step.
The scribbler to start scribbling.
Yeah, don't miss no step, bro. You talking about, hey, what's on your paper? No. Not time for paper, sir. No.
All right, y'all, that's behind the scenes. First of all, thank y'all for subscribing to our channel. We want you to, if you're not a subscriber, please, if you would like more content like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell, and you will get notified every time we drop a new episode. And this show is sponsored by the Pocket Communication Coach. Look, y'all, we are getting roughly 100 to 200 new subscribers every single month. The Pocket Communication Coach is revolutionary. It's one of those things that, you know how sometimes you want to figure out how to say something, but you don't know how? Well, we created the AI-driven software. We prompted it for months to communicate in a way that you would if you're dating, in a relationship. But let's say you're in the workplace and you want to tell your boss you want a raise, but you don't know how to say it. Because if you say it wrong, you ain't get no raise. But if you use the Pocket Communication Coach, it will tell you exactly how to do it. And what about your mama? Your mama been saying stuff to you for years, but it's been hurting your feelings for years. But you don't know what to say. You just walk away or shut down. Now you have the Pocket Communication Coach to help you express you. Go to pocketcommunicationcoach.com. Sign up today. See the way I did that? Was kind of smooth.
It was very smooth, like butter.
Oh, you know what you funny. I got my liners in today. I normally don't wear my liners, and my liners making my mouth look funny.
Does it feel funny?
It do, but I was just wondering.
Is it your mouth tight?
It'd be. Anyway, let's keep it going. All right, what you got for me tonight, Ned? What you got for me tonight?
We have a letter tonight.
Okay.
From someone that has been listening to you or watching you for several years.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, and so.
All right.
Dear Coach, I have followed you for a couple years and I've learned a lot from you. I have recently started dating a guy, and during one of our conversations, our deal breakers came up. One of his deal breakers is that he won't date anyone who has dated one of his frat brothers. Frat, yeah, I'm like, dang, frat.
Frat brothers, okay.
Frat brothers.
Okay.
And the problem is, I have dated too, but I really like this guy. So my only question to you is, do I tell him and possibly end what seems to be a potentially great, or it's the start of a great relationship, or do I keep quiet and hope he never finds out?
So you asking me a lot of things.
Only two things. Do I tell or do I keep quiet?
But there's some context to this that I need to know.
Yeah, but there's no questions. There's only two
Now, it's quite a few questions.
Okay.
Some of them you didn't ask.
Okay.
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 Number one you didn't ask.
Was.
Okay. Was she still messing with the fat brother when she found him? When they found
No,
out?
it's guys that she dated in the past.
How long ago?
It's been some years. Been some years.
So why didn't she tell him from the beginning?
Well, she didn't know that it was a deal breaker from the beginning. She didn't know it would be a big deal. They were, they were just sitting, having a conversation. They've been dating for a few months, and they were sitting, getting to know each other. And so she was like, "Let's talk about
classes."
So let's talk about a deal breaker. So yeah, so she's trying to. She's been listening to you. So I don't know if she's a student of yours or not.
Okay.
But and so she wanted to know the deal, what his deal breakers were, and she wanted to tell hers. And so she was really shocked to know that a deal breaker for him was somebody that dated one of his.
Okay, so I have a question.
Brothers. I'm not her.
No, I know you know the answer to it.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, did they pop goes the Weasel?
She just said dated. She didn't say if the date.
That matters. Did you pop goes the Weasel?
I don't know if the Weasel went pop.
Hold on. Well, see, if the Weasel went pop, it matters. If you didn't, if we didn't go pop goes the Weasel, then okay.
Well, what does dating mean? I think maybe
dating don't always mean pop goes the Weasel.
I think she got her Weasel pop. I believe. I believe she got her Weasel pop.
She was the Weasel that got popped. Okay.
Let's not.
Okay.
Because she's gonna listen to this.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Okay.
Should she tell him? Number one, I'm going to say something that is going to contradict a lot of things that I say.
Okay.
Now, in other words, you're like, Coach, you're normally consistent.
I had to take my glasses off for
You're
this.
normally consistent. So you ever seen the movie Pet Sematary? And in Pet Sematary, there is a line that I've always remembered. And in Pet Sematary, the line was, some things are better off left dead. Okay? Some things are better off left dead.
Wow.
Now, I
heard
said
you say that
it was
before,
going,
but
you've heard me say that.
yes.
Okay. Why do I say that?
Why do you say that?
Because in Pet Sematary, when you bring something back from the dead, it destroys stuff.
But what happens if? So they've been dating for a few months now. So what happens if that few months turns into,
Now,
let's say a couple of years? Let's just say a couple of years, and you invite your frat brother to your wedding.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm rethinking this. I'm rethinking this.
And y'all doing the first dance. Y'all done learned this little dance. Y'all doing whatever y'all doing. Y'all doing boots on the ground.
No.
And or whatever y'all doing, and
then the Weasel.
then one of your boys
They're gonna let the Weasel go.
Yo,
They gonna let the Weasel
I knew it was gonna come back to me.
Okay.
That was Bobby's girl.
So I just said about the Pet Sematary stuff. I was just saying that for effect.
Okay.
Okay. I do believe some things. I believe some things are let out better left dead.
What you got dead that you don't?
I don't know. I don't want to dig it up.
So but it is something down there.
I mean, all of us.
It is something down there.
Every human being has things that they want to bury in their past that they're not proud of. The things that remind them of the person they used to be.
Oh, bring them to your safe place. Let me hear about it.
No, I'm not bringing nothing to you. But okay,
well, go ahead.
First off, if they've been dating a few months, let me start over. Let me be honest.
Okay.
She should tell him. She should tell him
She
because
should.
she has, you know why? You have to risk it at the beginning because it's too risky later on. Because later on, you have invested emotionally. You've invested probably financially. You've invested, resources, talents, and a lot of things in this relationship. The investment becomes too risky if I wait later on. I need to know how the person is going to react now. So I need to come clean about that. If that's one of the person's deal breakers, I gotta tell them to see if it is a deal breaker. Because sometimes it might not be a deal breaker. We think some things are a deal breaker that may not be. He thinks, no, I can't think about my wife being with one of my frat brothers. That's what really why it's a deal breaker. The idea, the thought of his frat brother. Now, he not probably know she ain't come as no virgin. He know that. But he ain't know one of his frat brothers was, was with her sexually. So I do think she needs to tell it because the investment becomes too high later on. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Because you have too much more to risk if you wait. And here's the thing, especially if he said it's a deal breaker. A deal breaker, and a lot of people don't tell it because they might like the person and they don't want to risk.
That's where she is. She doesn't want to tell it because she's like, this guy just seems like, like the relationship seems like it could go someplace. And I don't want to stop it on something that means nothing to me, but on the other hand, it means everything to him or means something to him. I'm not going to say everything, but it means something to him.
If I found out one of my teammates was Pop Goes the Weasel on you before I met you, and you didn't tell me, how long we been married? 24 years. And we've been
What if I didn't know it was your teammate though?
Well,
What if this homecoming is when I find out, oh my gosh, you know Jesse James.
Jesse James.
I had to throw a name out there that didn't mean nothing, neither one of us.
Okay. But how long we been married? 24 years?
Yeah, but
if I found out today that one of my ex-teammates...
But what if I didn't know that you like...
Put your tire on your car? Put a lug nut wrench on you?
You said, oh, you.
Well, I got too much to lose now, so I probably wouldn't care.
I think you might have a little attitude.
I might have a little attitude because I'm like, you didn't tell me. But if you didn't know he was my teammate,
right?
Then what could I say? I couldn't say nothing. You didn't know he was my teammate. I mean, I don't know everything that happened in your past, just like you don't know everything that happened in my past. And it really doesn't matter at this point because we connected at the hip. However, if it was my teammate and I ain't know it, okay, fine. But if you knew it.
Oh, gosh, you just scared me just now. The way you said
But if you knew it, because she
frightened me.
Because she knows it. It's his frat brother.
She didn't know it was an issue until now.
But she knows it now. So in other words, what you telling me is she knew that she used to go Pop Goes the Weasel with his homeboy, with his frat brothers. She just didn't know it was an issue with him.
Yeah.
Well, why you didn't tell? Well, I get why she didn't tell him, though. I get it.
Audience, what would you do? I'd like to know what you guys would do, or what advice would you give her? Should she tell it, or should she keep it to herself? I'm like half in, half out. Like a part of me is like, you need to go ahead and say something, but then a part of me is like, you don't even know if this relationship is going to work. I mean,
but Nat, how many women say this? How many women say this? How many women say things like, I want you to be honest. I want you to be honest. That's what they say. I want you to be honest. But then when you're honest, they weaponize that honesty. When they weaponize the honesty, what do? They say things like, well, you remember when you did what? You did my homeboy, my frat brother. But remember, I'm just saying, a lot of times people want you to be honest, but they really can't handle the honesty. Because what they do is they weaponize you.
So when you're weaponized, then that makes you not want to tell the truth
It
with
does.
something else.
It does.
So let's talk about other deal breakers. What are some other deal breakers in relationships?
Did
I know
you did some research, didn't you?
yeah, like I know, like an insecurity, having insecurities. A person having insecurities is a deal breaker.
But a lot of people have insecurities.
But I was going to say,
how is that a deal breaker?
Well, that
Stifling insecurity. In other words,
what you
no, you're gonna say
okay, go ahead. No.
Everybody is insecure about something.
Mm-hmm.
But stifling insecurity that causes your attachment style to affect the relationship. That's when insecurity.
So explain that.
So, for instance, okay, if you have an insecurity around being abandoned or rejected, and you have developed an anxious attachment style, and how do you know a person has an anxious attachment style? It's the person who every 15 minutes they called you, but you ain't called them back, and they're like, "What's going on?" Or they need to talk to you before you go to bed, and every morning you wake up to make sure we're good in the relationship. Well, those are symptoms of an anxious attachment style. And that comes from, attachment theory comes from, Carl Jung developed this theory that said that we develop attachment styles based on how our caregivers interacted with us. And many times people's caregivers may have left them, may not have been there for them, and they feel abandoned or rejected. And so they take that to a relationship when they see certain symptoms. They may see symptoms of, okay, you don't call me back. Okay, our pattern is the same, but you don't do that pattern that you've been doing. You don't call me at night like you've been calling me. What's wrong? What's going on? Something's wrong. You're leaving me. That's attachment style, okay? And when your insecurity exacerbates that kind of activity or anxiety with your attachment style, that affects the relationship. And that might be when insecurity becomes.
Like an insecure, okay.
Like some people, everything you do, you can never do enough. I can tell you I love you 20 times, ain't enough. Or you didn't tell me 21 times, or you didn't call me 16 times. You miss. Well, sometimes people require you to do things, but you can never do enough.
It's never
because to show them you love them because they don't love themselves. They don't love
So what
themselves.
about like a deal breaker being like poor communication? Like
98% of the people are poor communicators. So if it's a deal breaker, what most people mean when they say poor communication as a deal breaker, you know what they're really talking about?
what?
What they're really talking about is because you don't want to talk about the relationship.
Or you don't want to talk about what I want to talk about.
Right. Because I did a live one time when I said everybody is emotionally unavailable. And people are like, no, coach, not me. I said, yes, you are. You're just emotionally unavailable about the things you're emotionally unavailable about. I said, you want to talk about certain things, want to talk about relationship, what are we doing, where are we going? But there are parts of you, things that you don't want nobody to touch. But you're emotionally unavailable about those things. Did you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's just that you call people, a lot of women call men emotionally unavailable, when the truth is, yes, they may be in some areas, but everybody is. Because there's some areas you don't want to talk about. And you're emotionally unavailable in those areas.
Do you think there are areas that I'm emotionally unavailable in?
Used to be, not much anymore. I think when your father died, that you went through 3 years of emotional unavailability around things, around your dad and all that. And I understood it. And I just let you be. I let you experience, let you go through the process. I was just there to support you. Sometimes I wanted to say something. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to probe too deep because I know you didn't want to go too deep in that. But that was the one time that I saw it.
How does a person maneuver? I know I'm changing the subject, But how does a person maneuver
But you got
around?
Coach Ken, so when you got me, get everything out me.
How does a person maneuver around a person that they care for who has because I was unavailable, like
Mm-hmm.
in more area than one. So
Okay.
how do you maneuver around that and not say, enough is enough, or you get what I'm saying?
Because
Being the other person, the other.
the other person, please understand, y'all. The cycle of grief. She was going through the cycle of grief. Everybody goes through the cycle of grief. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
When my mama died, and then I went through it more when my dad died because I didn't expect it.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was older,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't expect how it happened so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through the cycle of grief differently. The cycle of grief is a process we go through where you're sad, you're angry, you begin bartering, thinking about what if I could have done this, and then you get to acceptance. And there's a cycle. But I can't tell you how long you're going to go through it or you need to go through it. I've got to allow you to do that. But a lot of people, you ever heard people say the worst shit people could ever say? And I cuss because of this. Well, you just need to get over it. I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say it in terms of relationships. Well, in relationships, you're going through the cycle of grief too because of loss.
Mm-hmm.
We just think because when somebody dies, that's on. No, when you lose something, a relationship many times is lost. It is lost. And so you go through these emotions like that.
I think I heard my client Brenda Fitz say it best. You just hurt till you don't.
Yeah.
You're angry until you're not.
There you go.
It is not a time period on it. But I just
That's
I just
real.
you brought that moment up, and you were so good for me in that moment. And I know people that are going through not just grief, but grief about different things, but
Right.
but
It was hard on me though.
and that really.
You know why it was hard on me? So we might be at dinner. And I always know when the energy changed.
Mm-hmm.
I always know.
You can tell when my
And then
my
I'm
energy
like,
shifts.
then I'm in an awkward space. We were talking a minute ago about whatever. And I can literally see the shift in energy and I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what to do. And it was frustrating sometimes because I wanted to be there. And sometimes I would just hug you and be like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult.
We need to do a segment on that right there.
We
'cause that
do. And I got a question for you. When I went through it with mama and daddy,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how close me and daddy was, and me and mama was close too. But the reason why I didn't go through it as bad with mama is because dad had done everything he could to, and when mom got sick, it was like I kind of expected it,
Mm-hmm.
and we had done everything. We had said everything. We were real close, but it was like, then it was like, I know what it was. Then I had to take care of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got busy.
Mm-hmm.
I got distracted because when mom left, I had to take care of dad because he was devastated when mom left. Because his whole world was my mama taking care of her when she had the stroke. His whole world. And now he had to become my world along with, my family. But, I guess I handle grief differently though. What do I try
You
to
do.
I want to go back to work. I just want to try to get things done. I guess.
Yeah. It was hard for me to be there for you because you look like you didn't need me.
Oh.
You carry everything so well. And it was like, just like you say, you go back to work, you go back to business as usual. Well, on the
tried.
inside, but I couldn't see what was going on in the inside.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't let me in, You do something that wasn't that you was pushing me away, but it was something that you kept here. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing for me. I was like, you know, you still had your father then,
Mm-hmm.
and you couldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just couldn't. I didn't think you could understand what that was like
And
for
the
me.
truth is, as much as I wanted to be there and say and do the right things, I didn't understand. And I only can say that now is because I understand now.
Right,
There are no
right,
right words, it's no right touch,
right,
it's no right,
right.
But I appreciate you standing down when it was time to stand down, you embracing me in those moments, and you letting me go through it. That was a long 3 years. Is a long time,
It's a good amount of time.
and
I'm not even
so
gonna lie.
the fact that um that you embraced me, you allowed me those 3 years. I appreciate that.
How did we go from that to deal
I don't
breakers to?
know.
How did we go from deal breakers? But what I will say is, this is what I like about why we do this. Why we do this, because we get out. We talk about real issues, and that was important. But you were asking me about deal breakers, and we were talking about insecurity, and we talked
Yeah.
about the cycle of grief.
Right.
That's how we got there. But I want to ask you one question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a person should identify their deal breakers or what they think their deal breakers are before they get in a relationship, or realize them as they're in the relationship?
I think. Well, I think as you're getting to know somebody, I don't think our first cup of coffee I should know what your deal breakers are.
What I'm saying is, does a person need to know what their own deal breakers are?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your deal breakers?
At this point,
I mean, fool, we've been together so long. But I'm saying, deal breaker, smeel breaker,
I think just if you out there popping, locking,
If I pop goes the Weasel.
yeah, if you pop somebody Weasel,
Pop
then
the
your
we-
Weasel gonna go pop. Day is done.
Are you threatening me? Y'all heard it. Y'all heard the threatening.
Gone the sun. I was a Girl Scout. We had to sing that. All is well. God is not.
That's not even the song.
It's
You missed
thanks
it.
and praise. That's the second verse right there. For our days. Taps on that nigga. Is that a deal breaker? What you think?
Get the card. Show the game.
I done forgot what I'm doing in here. Yeah.
Y'all, go order your game.
Please
This is the
order these.
moment of
They're
truth.
so much fun.
Moment of truth. That the one she has is the regular version, the original version. This is the sex version for all you freaks out there.
And I'm gonna tell you what. I got a call from my friend Paulise, who she
played this.
She plays it all the time. She bought these she might have been the third person that purchased
when
these.
we first created
When we
them.
first created them. But what she does is when she travels, she doesn't take her own. And she's going on a girlfriend's trip. And so she just said that she wanted to order some. And then before they leave, she'll let somebody win them. But she never takes hers
That's good.
with her because she says she don't want to leave them.
And I want her to order some more. We get a lot of orders of these. Keep ordering. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Didn't I say my friend Paulise?
Thank ya.
Are we doing that to my...
Okay, go ahead, babe. Go ahead, give me some. Give me some.
Your partner has slept with over 100 people. Does this affect how you see them? A, no way. We all have a past. B, yes, too much of a free spirit. C, No, so long as none of the partners were your friends. They gotta be 100. D, yes, because you have a reputation to uphold. Your partner has slept with over 100 people.
Are you asking me that?
Does
believe.
Does this affect how you see them?
Yeah, hell yeah. That means your pussy on crutches.
Oh Lord!
I mean, think about it like this. That thing's so beat up. It's got torn ligaments in it.
Thank you guys for joining
It's
us
got
on
torn
yet another
ligaments in it.
Thursday
Hold on, I gotta
evening.
give them the sponsors. Hey, look,
Oh,
that mug got a
Lord.
knee brace on it. Hey, look, yo, 100.
Father,
That's
listen, your partner, audience, your partner has slept with over 100 people. Does this affect how you see them? A, no, we all have a past. B, yes, too much of a free spirit. C, no, as long as none of them were my friends. D, yes, because I have a reputation to uphold. What do you think, audience?
E, it's on crutches. That joint on crutches. That bug don't even work no more. Okay. All right. I just ask you. Now, yes, it would affect how I see you. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That mean, think about it.
What, 99 and a half?
Okay, if I had been with like over 100 before you
oh my
met me.
gosh.
Before you met me, because I'm just
He
saying.
just said before he met me, like he met
No,
met
I'm
that
saying,
quota doing our.
I'm just asking. Would that make a difference if you knew I had been 100?
Gosh, yes.
Would you divorce me?
At this point, no, but I would be like, Kenny, who did you not poke? It's got to be some booger bears in there.
Quantity, not quality.
Guys, listen.
Sponsored by the PCC. Go out and get the pocket communication coach so you won't communicate like I just did.
Saying.
So just if you want to learn how to communicate better, go get pocketcommunicationcoach.com, pocketcommunicationcoach.com. You won't say stupid stuff like what I just did.
Guys, again, thank you guys for joining us on this Thursday evening. Make sure you have a super duper safe weekend. And we'll see you here next week. We're the Grand Canyons, and we are